It's day 6 of the Pattern Makers 100-day challenge. And I'm going to let you eavesdrop on a coaching session that I had recently about who is stealing your talents, gifts, and potential. See you soon. I'm thinking it's going to be a very interesting conversation. Y'all know I usually do all the work, right? Shelly, you know that. And there's a few new people here.
Motivation.
Was it motivation?
Was it motivation? I think it was motivation
Yes, because
because it went
Dad
in a
brought
different direction than I thought it was going to go, but it was still, of course, good, really good. But it was
Yeah, it was
motivation.
motivation. Huh. And I talked about the physics of motivation, right? I talked about the law of energy and the law of
Right.
inertia and the law of entropy and the law of momentum. And I crafted a whole story. How did that go for y'all last month? Did you put it into play?
I put some things into play.
What did you put into play?
I'm getting over some things that, might have been considered some fears or, wasn't sure about. Last night, I actually went ziplining, which might sound like a small thing for some, but it was huge for me. Lord, I felt like
Okay.
I was taking my life in my hands. And then just as far as every day, making decisions faster. That's a big one for me, and it's worked out. On one or two things because I tend to, in the past, I had a tendency to overthink, over research, things of that nature. So, and I think you might have even mentioned last month. I know you mentioned some things I had literally just had a conversation with someone about, and moving quickly, making decisions is one of them, and that is something that I have definitely been actively working on. Sometimes
Okay.
I feel myself being pulled back into research mode, but I push through.
Okay. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. So how are we going to do this? You're going to have probably questions as we move forward. If you have a question or if you want to insert into the conversation, please raise your hand. Dr. Marnita on fire. How about that? But I am having several conversations on YouTube right now, which is P3 Purposepreneurs. P3 Purposepreneurs um, is a content creation business, a coaching business, and a business that helps you create a business that's in alignment with your purpose. And we right now we are having a 100-day challenge. And basically what that means is if you are an inspiring business owner and you aspire to get your message out to people who need to hear it, because each of us has a unique gift in us that we should be sharing in order to help someone else's life better. And so what I believe is mostly I work with people who aspire to retire early or people who are approaching the retirement age or people who have already retired. These people have a lot of education, a lot of experience, and a lot of expertise, and I help them package that into a product that sells automatically so they can service other people at the highest level with it and help them redeem their time and how they move forward in life to be more in alignment with their purpose, which serves as inspiration, motivation, and intention. I know I just said a mouthful full there, but I'm really excited about today. Today, we're having a conversation on basically who's in your room. And so, who's in your room that is stealing your potential, your gifts, and your talents. Your potential, your gifts, and your talents. I'm not sure if you even recognize there are people who may be in your room who may not be the best people to be in your room, only because most often than not, we don't even know who we are ourselves. We have been working so long, aligning ourselves with other people's intentions and purpose in life that we haven't taken the time to discern who we really are. So I put together, and I'm hoping this conversation will be more of a dynamic conversation as opposed to me having a monologue with the screen, because this is about you. And so I put together an exercise that only you can fulfill for yourselves. And it will help you put things in order based on different categories of your life. And you will be surprised that the answers that you will come up with may differ depending on what's in your head and what's in your heart. But I'm doing this exercise so it can serve you in the best way possible to let you know and helpfully discern who's in your room, who should be in your room as it relates to what's most important to you. I'm going to give you 6 words. And what I want you to do with these words is I want you to rank them in order of priority for you. And that's all I want you to do for now. And when you're done, either raise your hand or put ready in the chat. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, so those 6 words are 1, lifestyle, legacy, dreams, next phase, education, philanthropy. I picked these words because it'll give you a start to identify what's most important to you. But as you move forward, please feel free to put whatever category that you would like to add to this list. But for right now, let's start with these 6. And I'm going to give you a little bit to order these in order of priority for you.
This is an interesting exercise, Dr. Marnita. In the past, when I've done something similar, I always end up getting to the point where I say to myself, there's 2 lists, right? What I say is important to me, which is what I would want to be important to me, versus what my actions dictate, which is where I spend my time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand the difference of what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you prefer us to put here? What we want to be important to us, or, how we currently live our lives that indicate the order of importance to us?
So I want you to intuitively put down what comes first to mind for you.
Okay.
Based on your order, I'm going to ask a question. I want you to write your answer on your sheet. When it comes to number 1, tell me why you placed that first. You don't have to tell me verbally, but I need you to write it down, what that means. Tell me why you place that one first. So you know why you put that first. Whatever it is, why do you believe, now this is a good one. Why do you believe it has the most priority in your life based on the 6 words that I gave you? Why do you believe that? And maybe even to piggyback on that last question is, you're about to tell me why you believe it, but also who would you be if that number one choice wasn't the case? Who would you be if that number one choice wasn't true for you? I'm gonna stick with number one since that's y'all priority, and I want you to go through each of those other 5 in a similar fashion, but based on who's in your room right now, can you list the top 10 people who you consider to be in your room? These are people that you have the most interaction with. Is it 10 a stretch for most of you?
It is for me.
And that's including family too.
Yes.
It's interesting, right? So
It is interesting, right?
For a lot of people, it may not be a lot, but it says something about
Okay, so
how we're living if it is a lot, right?
That is a lot, because you know what we're here to do is to, one, be creators, be connectors, and to be contributors. We know that we have an innate ability to create, right? But do we have an innate ability to connect? Because most people try to do it by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing, we were meant to be interdependent on each other. That's why we were meant to be creators in order to serve people at the highest level possible. So the reason I say 10, and 10 may be a stretch for a lot of people, and I get it, which means that basically what that means is that there's a muscle that we need to strengthen, because in order to be our best selves, we need to connect with other people who can help us see us. And in order to be our best self, you can't be your best self by yourself. So if we're having a hard time coming up with 10 people, right? That means our room is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where sometimes some people get into a state of isolation. And when you get into a state of isolation, that begins to be a closed system. And now we into a law of entropy, which says in a closed system, everything goes to disorder.
Mm-hmm.
We were never meant to be by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make it easy on you. Can you give me 5?
That this part of the exercise in and of itself is so eye-opening, because on the one hand, I can see how I've made my world smaller, right? I already knew that. But then for me to say, wow, 10's a lot. Like, it's like, wow, I've really made my world smaller. If 10 is a lot, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. So we have our 5. So let me ask you this. Now, this is a good one. Out of the 5 that you chose, those 5 people in your room, are they in alignment with where it is you're trying to move to? And those 5 people in your room, when you see them, you see yourself. Oh my God, right?
What do you mean by that?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let me ask you this. Can you ever see yourself? Like really, I can see you, Shelly, right? But the only thing that I can see in myself, when I look and see, like I'm looking at this monitor, I can only see a reflection of me. Mm-hmm. So when I look at you, Shelly, I see a reflection of me through you. Mm. You give that back to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, oh my God, my number one most interactive is a no. It's like a no, like no, right? Right? Is this like an awareness conversation for you? Mm-hmm. I know I had to do this for my life at one point, and I had to like, look, no wonder I am so stagnated.
Mhm.
And it was so disappointing and discouraging. And I'm wondering why I can't go any further, because what I realized is that my room had to change. It does not mean those people who are currently in my room, it does not mean I don't love them less. But in order for me to move forward, I need to see my reflection from someone that I can see myself in them. Hello, I am Dr. Marnita on fire from P3 Purposepreneur TV. Thank you for stopping by our channel today, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If so, like, subscribe, share, and leave a purposeful comment. Again, from P3 Purposepreneur TV, where purposepreneurs are pattern makers, and pattern makers are move makers. Goodbye.